Are you serious? Are you serious? Now we got, now you got Turkish President Erdogan calling Benjamin Netanyahu a terrorist. What? What does Erdogan think he's been doing when he goes across the border into Syria and wants to exterminate the Kurds? Are you serious? Are you serious? This guy is the one trying to form a caliphate. This guy wants to form a caliphate. He wants to march on Jerusalem. It's an absolute. Erdogan is a dangerous individual. He's got nukes. Anyway, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Turkish President Erdogan traded some war of words today as the deadly clashes on the Gaza border. 16 Palestinians died on Friday as 30,000 of them converged upon the border with Israel, throwing petroleum bombs, rolling tires on fire, firing rocks and slingshots, and actually coming across the border in a really ugly situation developing. And they even took women and children and stuck them on the front line, and even sent a 7-year-old girl across the border. President Erdogan, though, accused Netanyahu of being a terrorist, though, today. It came after Netanyahu rejected Turkey's moral lessons and accused Turkey of indiscriminately bombing civilians in its actions abroad. The most moral army in the world will not be lectured to a morality from someone who has for years been bombing civilians indiscriminately, the Israeli leader said on Twitter. Also, apparently this is how they mark April 1st in Turkey, in reference to April's Fool's Day. He has previously called Erdogan someone who bombs Kurdish villagers in reference to Turkey's military operations in Afrin area of Syria, and as he's been threatening to drive the Kurds across the other side of the Euphrates River. Turkey said to Netanyahu, hey, you're an occupier, and it is an occupier that you are on those lands. And at the same time, you're a terrorist, said Erdogan in a televised address today. The escalating war of words comes amid growing international criticism of the Israeli military response. What was they supposed to do? Just sit there and let them all come across the border? Look, Israel doesn't want this. They're trying to say, what are you doing? These clashes broke out after 30,000 Palestinians marched to the border to start a 6-week protest of rioting dubbed the Great March of Return. The demonstration comes ahead of the 70th anniversary of the founding of Israel as a nation. And wow, and that's going to be May the 14th. That's also the day, the 70th anniversary of Israel as a nation. It's also the day that the United States is going to open its U.S. embassy in Jerusalem. Now, although most protesters stayed in the encampments, some groups of youths ignored the organizers' calls to stay away from the fence and headed closer to Israeli positions. The Israeli Defense Forces said troops fired towards the main instigators during rioting in which petroleum bombs and stones were thrown. Palestinians accused Israel of using disproportionate force in their response, with their leader Mahmoud Abbas saying Israel bore full responsibility for the bloodshed. With 16 fatalities, Friday was the single deadliest day between Israel and Palestinian conflict since that war of 2014 called the Gaza War. That was a 50-day war. Now, the UN says hundreds more were injured. Israeli military generals told journalists yesterday that Hamas, the militant group that controls Gaza, was using protest as a cover for launching attacks on Israel. And the Israeli ambassador to the United Nations, Danny Danon, also blamed the bloodshed on the militant group. The country has rejected calls from international leaders, including UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, for an independent investigation into the violence. So here we go. We're going to have to deal with this for 6 weeks. We should be praying for the peace of Jerusalem. We should be, and look, if the Palestinians want to change the atmosphere, they've been given ample opportunity to be their own country. I mean, 1997, it was on the table. 2000, it was on the table. They keep putting a two-state solution on the table, and the Palestinians keep rejecting that because they really don't want a two-state solution. They really don't want to be responsible for their own situation. They want the whole Holy Land. And that's just not going to happen. And so here we go again. So let's just see what happens. I mean, look, I don't want to see this. Look, we need peace, but what are you going to do? So, wow. Anyway, here's what I want to say from a biblical standpoint. And there's a lot of Palestinians are Christians, and they're caught in the middle because it's not their fault. Because Hamas, who is a radical Islamic terrorist group, is in charge, and they're stealing all the money. All the millions and millions and millions of dollars that the United States gives, that Israel gives, that the UN gives, because the United States gives it to the UN, basically. All this cash that goes into Gaza to build schools, hospitals, improve their employment opportunities, Hamas takes it and buys weapons. So, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you serious? So anyway, this is going to be ugly for 6 weeks. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. But this is biblical prophecy. The Bible says that Jerusalem will become this cup of trembling, this burdensome stone for all people. And the whole world's going to make it their business. And they're all going to be upset at Israel, and they're all going to hate on Jerusalem. And it's exactly what the Bible prophesied would happen in the last days. You can read it for yourself in Zechariah chapter 12. We are definitely living in the cup of trembling. All right? Keep your eyes open, guys. Let's see what happens. Be watching Israel the next 6 weeks and be praying, okay? Pray for peace in the Middle East. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. Certainly today being the Feast of First Fruits, also being Resurrection Sunday. We're going to be gathering tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'm going live. It's going to be a powerful broadcast, very prophetic. We'll be doing the wave offering as well on Sunday Night Live as part of the Passover. And it's just going to be an incredible night of biblical prophecy. We got to break it all down. We got Russia shooting off the Satan II missile. And we've got a whole lot more going on. Oh, my Lord. I'll get you up to speed on everything. It's snowing here in Indiana right now. Are you serious? It's snowing here.